name's Paul and I'm a club leader. I look after a pack in Windsor, so 6 Central. I'm also a first aid instructor. I own a first aid training company as well. And we've been doing loads of live videos teaching children how to do first aid over the lockdown period. So we had the idea that we would try and help Beavers, Cubs and Scouts attain some of their emergency aid badges, their stage badge. And so what we did, we've taken some of the footage that we used during the live shows and we've edited them down and we've added a couple of little bits of extra content to ensure that you can achieve your level 1 badge, your stage 1 in the emergency aid. And we're going to be doing a second video for the stage 2 as well. So what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at different criteria that you need to achieve to get your badge. Now, just to prove to your leaders that you've done it, it's always best to check with the leaders that it's okay for you to do this online with a video. But what we're going to do to make sure that you've understood it is there's a worksheet attached to this website, so you can fill that in and give it to your leader, and you can also print off a certificate as well, just to say that you've achieved that level through doing the video content. Now, there's lots. It's not just watching a video. There's lots of practical work involved as well. So you might need a couple of things with the video. Obviously, you can rewind it and get things as you need them. But a teddy is really, really good. We're going to do some bandaging on teddy. So some old bandages or a tea towel or something like that would be really, really good. Also, a grown-up or a sibling that you can do to put somebody in the recovery position. That's always really helpful as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different content. So we're going to have a look at the importance of getting help. We'll tell you who can help you in the event of an emergency and how you can get hold of them. We're going to talk to you about what to do and what to say when you call 999 as well. And there's a little worksheet with some scenarios on that you can download and print off as well. We're also going to have a look at what happens if somebody is unconscious. So if you can't wake them up, what to do, and we're going to check whether they're breathing, whether they're not breathing, and we're going to deal with both of those situations as well. Then we're going to have a look about how we help somebody that's bleeding, starting from something like a small graze, going right up to a big cut that we might need to bandage. We'll have a look at the limbs, we'll have a look at a bandage on your head. We're also going to have a look at nosebleed as well. They're really, pretty common. We're also going to have a look at how to reassure somebody at the scene as well. So it's not only just physically treating people, we've got to look after them emotionally as well and make sure that they're as happy as possible. Now, make sure that you have a look at the resources. As I say, they're attached to this website. Now, if you are looking at this on our YouTube channel, I'll put a link to those resources down at the bottom as well, so you can get hold of them, just to make sure that leaders know that you've done the work. So this is the stage 1 badge. We are going to do a separate video for the stage 2 one as well, so keep an eye out for that, because again, hopefully we'll get you through both of your badges during the lockdown period as well. So good luck. I hope you really enjoy it. As I say, lots of practical work. Do the practical work. That's the really important thing. It's important that we know what to do, but you've got to do it practically as well. So keep an eye on the video, enjoy it, and good luck. So we've got a big question for you to start with. I mean, you've signed up for a first aid thing today. So what is first aid? Okay, so what do you think first aid is, William? We've got a couple of questions here for you. So here's a question for all of you boys and girls out there today. What is first aid? Do you know what first aid is? So we're going to give you some options here. Is it A, what's that, William?
Learning to perform surgery.
Is it learning to perform surgery? Is that what we're going to be doing today? Is it B, the help you give someone who is hurt or poorly? Or is it C, what mummy and daddy need after homeschooling for a month? So I want you to shout out your answers and see what we're doing. Okay, so what do you think it is? Is it A, B, or C? So William, have you got your buzzer? What do you think it is?
I think it's B.
You think
the help you give to someone who is hurt or poorly.
I think you're absolutely right. So that's exactly what first aid is today. So are you going to give yourself the success buzzer? The fantastic first aid buzzer that we've got over there. So that's our kind of, if we do good first aid today, you're going to get that buzzer. If we get it wrong today, we've got a different buzzer there for you as well. So the big thing that I want you guys to realise is that no matter how young you are, and no matter how old you are as well, learning some first aid skills is really, really important. You guys can make a really, really big difference. Really, really small children have saved people's lives before. So just knowing a few basic bits of first aid are really, really, really important. Never ever be afraid. You can do what we need you to do. So don't ever be afraid of it. But it's really, really important that you do know some basic first aid skills. So if anyone asks you, Cub Scouts, Guides, Brownies, Rainbows, if you want to go get stuck in and learn some first aid, go and do it. It's really, really important.
Okay. Now, the biggest thing for us always to remember is that there's always somebody to help you. Okay. So hopefully around you, you've got grown-ups with you, you've got adults there that can come and give you a bit of help. They might have a bit more knowledge for you. But we're going to teach you how to get help today as well. That's one of the really big important things that we're going to learn today. So it's really, really important. There's always somebody that can help you there as well. So one of the biggest things we've got to remember is that even though we're going to train you to do some first aid, if somebody's hurt or poorly or you can't wake them up, it's really important to go and get a grown-up. We're not going to do this all on our own, get as much help as possible. I always, if I'm having to do first aid, I would always try and get somebody to come and help me as well. All right, so hopefully there's somebody around you, but we're going to train you today that if there's nobody there, that you can get help yourself as well. So what we're going to do now is the first thing that we ever do when we get stuck in with first aid is we need to make sure that you are safe, okay? You are the most important person and we're going to look after you, okay? So what we've done, and I don't know if you've noticed it yet, we've hidden 5 dangers in our classroom today, okay? And we want you to be danger detectives. You're going to walk in, and if something doesn't look right, you're going to have a good look around to see if there's any dangers around you there, okay? So I've got my second little helper, Alex, okay? So come on in, Alex. So come and sit down here, Alex. Okay. This is Alex. Alex, how old are you?
I'm 8.
You're 8, and have you ever done any first aid before, Alex?
I have in Beavers, but not, well, I have in Cubs.
Yeah.
And not anywhere else.
And have you ever hurt yourself where you needed first aid?
Yes, when I was very little, I broke my foot.
You broke your foot, and how did you break your foot?
I went to my friend's house and fell off their tree house.
Yeah, exactly. And I think William hurt himself at the same thing at the same party and ended up in hospital as well, didn't he? It was a great party. Right, so Alex has walked in. Now, Alex, we've got 5 dangers to spot. Now, William, are you ready with your buzzers? So if Alex gets the right one, you press the orange, and if you get something that's not dangerous, then you press the purple one. So Alex, see if you spot any dangers.
The snake.
Yes, we've got a poisonous snake hanging from our banner today. Well spotted.
Electric wire.
The electric wires, yeah, absolutely. Good boy.
Glass.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, so a wet floor from a spilled glass as well. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry? You've got the electric.
Chainsaw.
Yeah, I think Daddy's been doing his DIY today, hasn't he? So, yeah, we've got our chainsaw, which is definitely a bit dangerous, that one. We'll get rid of that. And we'll get rid of the electricity. Anything else? What might cause somebody to be hurt?
Glass.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the really hard one, isn't it? We've got a cup of really hot coffee just standing there in our lovely green box mug, just sitting there. So if we were to get up and bang that, we might spill really hot liquid all over the place. So boys and girls, how did you get on with that? So did you manage to spot all 5? I think some of them were really obvious. Some of the things that you look at when you walk into a scene are really obvious, but sometimes it's the little things like the cup that will trip you up, okay? So always look where you're kneeling, always look where you're putting your hands, always look where your head is as well. So it's always a good one. Come and have a sit down for us, Alex, there. So fantastic. So we are now danger detectives. Every time we walk in to do any first aid, make sure that you are really, really safe before you do anything. It's really, really important. So
it's really fun.
one of the big things that we promised you earlier was that we want to get you help. So if something's wrong, never try and do it on your own, okay? It's really, really important that we try and get help on the scene as quickly as possible. So I'm going to ask the boys a question. So who can help us? If something goes wrong and we need to do first aid, who can help us?
A parent.
A parent, yeah, absolutely, an adult, yeah, grown up. So
First aider.
Trained first aider, that would be really good, wouldn't it? If they were a trained first aider.
Someone at a hospital or someone in an ambulance. A doctor.
Yeah, so it might be a paramedic. So if you shout for help, you never know who you're going to get. So it might be a paramedic, it might be a fireman, it might be a policeman, somebody with more training with us as well. But who else can help us as well?
An adult.
Yeah, just a grown up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your friends can help you as well. So it might be that you're in a playing field at school and somebody hurts themselves, and it might mean that your friend, can go and get the teacher for you. So yeah, really important that we rely on people around us. They might have more training than us, so we need to get hold of them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at how we get help. Okay, I think we might. How are the buzzers going? Are they okay? Still working? So just have a sit down for us. So we're going to have a look at how we let people get hold of us. Okay, so how do we get hold of people when we need them? So how do you think you would get people to come and help us?
Shout help. Shout help.
Shout help? Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to shout help. So what are we going to shout?
Help.
Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a shouting competition now. We're based in Windsor and we want to see if we can hear you out there, okay? So we're going to get William to go first and see how loud he can shout, and then we're going to have Alex to go. And then we're going to have a go to see if we can hear you in Windsor, okay? So, William, let's have a go. Before you go, 3, 2, 1.
Help!
Okay, that's not bad at all. Alexi? 3, 2, 1.
Help!
Oh, I think that was really, really good. So should we count it down for everybody at home? 3, 2, 1. Help! Okay, we really, really want as many people on the scene as possible. Did you hear anyone then?
Yeah.
I think we could hear everyone. So sorry to all the grown-ups out there. Yeah, we really, really sorry about that. Right, so now we've got help. Anyone around us should be coming to our scene at this point. But what we've got to have a look at is what happens if we can't get help from somebody just by shouting at them. So we're going to need to use a phone, okay? So first of all, what numbers do we call? So boys, do you know any numbers that we could call to get help from someone?
999 112.
Perfect. So there are 2 emergency numbers that we can use. So 999 is a really, really good number for us to use. We're going to call that, and that's going to get through to either the ambulance service, which is the one that we want, the police, and also the fire brigade as well, so they can come and help us.
Go straight to the ambulance.
No, 112 again goes straight through to the same place, but it just means it works in Europe as well. That's really, really good knowledge, William. So well done. So either of those numbers will work. Now, what we need you to be able to do is actually to get onto Mummy and Daddy's phone or the grown-up's phone. So we need to be able to unlock it. So what we're going to do, Alex is going to show you. He's got a couple of screen grabs here for you. So when you get hold of the grown-up's phone, so Alex, just get a little bit closer to it. Let's just steer you in here. So we should be able to see you here. So we are going to, that should look like your grown-up's phone. Hopefully when somebody's not feeling well and we need to get hold of the emergency services. Yeah, so we're going to keep swiping the screen and keep pressing buttons until you get to a locked keypad screen. And there should be the word, what's the word, Alice?
Emergency.
Emergency. So we're going to press the emergency screen and then it's going to go onto it like that, okay? And then
when you're on here, you press 999 or 112, and then you phone them, and then they'll hopefully pick up you.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. So then that's going to go straight through to the emergency services, straight through, and we're going to ask for. What are we going to ask for? Which service?
Help.
Yeah. Which service?
We've got ambulance.
Ambulance. Yeah. Absolutely. The great news is
you have to tell them where you are, so either your postcode or your address.
The big thing there with when we get through to it is that the person at the end of the phone is really well trained, and they're very, very well trained to help children and adults as well to deal with first aid situations whilst they wait for an ambulance. So don't ever be afraid. That person is there to help you. So as soon as we can get onto the phone, what I want you to do is get Mummy and Daddy or the grown-ups there just to show you how their phones work. So that's it's really vital that the children know that, and that's how we're going to get help into the house. So brilliant. So now we've got hold of the emergency services, and then we can get them on their way. Okay. What would we call the ambulance for? What kind of things would we do it? Okay, so we've got a question for you at home. Is it A? What does that say? That's William.
A nosebleed.
Is it B? Alex, that's yours.
Someone who you can't wake up.
Or is it C, someone with a broken arm? Okay, so we're going to get you guys to shout out. Okay, so keep shouting out. What's your answer? This one's a difficult one, this one. Which one do you think?
It's B, I think. Because it's someone who can't wake up But it's really hard because someone with a broken arm is also really bad.
Yeah.
And it also depends how bad the nosebleed is.
If it's like really bad, then you also need to call the ambulance.
Exactly. This one was, this was a really, really difficult one. The one that we would always call the ambulance for is with this one. Sometimes a nosebleed, and we're going to teach you how to deal with a nosebleed in one of the next lessons. But the broken arm one, sometimes as a first aider, we can actually keep them comfortable and supported until we get them to hospital ourselves. At the moment, the NHS are under lots of pressure, so we want to try and do as much as we can for them. Right, boys.
Hi, as we've been looking at in the video, we've been talking about calling 999 or 112. Just going to have a quick look at exactly the kind of thing that you're going to be asked. The call handlers are really well trained, particularly with dealing with children, but they will get straight to the point. They'll try and help you assess the patient really, really quickly. The first question that you'll get asked when you've gone through to the ambulance service is the patient breathing? So they're going to help you check on how serious it is. You don't really need to remember too much about this because the person at the end of the phone is going to guide you through it. We have, however, just in the links below the video, we've got some practice cards. So it's a PDF that you can download, and it'll just give you different scenarios, and you can do that with an adult, with a grown-up, so that they can talk you through what you would say in different situations. So give them a go. It's always really, really good practice. Obviously, the information that you do need is where you are. So where you live, your address is always really, really good to know, and particularly sort of when you're out and about. Obviously, when you call for help, the other grown-ups will be really helpful with that. So one of our jobs as well is not just looking after the people physically like we've been doing in the video so far, it's looking after them emotionally. Now, a lot of people, when they're feeling not very well or they've been injured, feel quite vulnerable. So it's really, really important that you keep very, very calm and that you reassure them constantly that they're going to be okay. Now, when people are injured, they'll mirror you. So if you're panicking and you look scared, they will behave in the same way as well. So it's very, very important that you keep them calm. For their medical health as well, it's really important that they stay as calm and as still as possible. We always want to keep people nice and still. So make sure that we're reassuring them. Keep talking to them. Tell them that everything's going to be okay. Tell them that the help that you've organised is on the way. It might be their parents. It might be the ambulance. But keep talking to them. Sometimes because you're a close friend, they'll look to you for reassurance above the leaders or the grown-ups that you're looking at as well. So you can be a great help to the adults around you at this point. Again, ask them, is there anything else that you can do that would make them more comfortable as well? So keep checking with them, and their situation changes as they're waiting as well. So keep going back, keep reassuring them, make sure that you keep them warm at all times. Don't give them anything to eat or drink as well at this point until you've been advised by a leader or grown up. So yeah, you can really, really reassure them. So well done so far. Keep going with the video.
Okay, fab. Right, so when we've got them on the way, we need to check our patient out. So boys, do you want to grab your teddies now?
Yeah.
Grab your teddies at home, okay? So we're going to practice on them now. So what we need to do first, if you get to someone and they are laying down and not in a normal situation, obviously not in bed or anything like this, and we think that something's wrong, we first of all, we're going to check for danger. We're going to make sure that we're safe. We spoke about that earlier. And then we're going to check to see if we can wake them up, okay? We want to get what's called a response from them. So we're going to do something really cool, and it's called shout and shake, okay? So that's what we've got to remember, this one, shout and shake. So I'm going to get the boys to demonstrate. So boys, can you wake your teddies up?
Hello!
I think that might actually make the situation a little bit worse, William. That's what we try not to do with first aid. So what we're going to do to start with
shout
is...
and shake means that. that was
Alex, why don't you give a demonstration of this one? Can you shout and shake with Teddy? So you can wake them up, okay?
Hello!
It's a gentle shake, okay? So we're going to gently shake them. Now, what I want you to do is, as well as shouting, give them something to do. So ask them to shout at them, open your eyes or wake up.
Open your eyes!
Okay, so I want you guys to be following along with Alex at home and William. So see if you can wake Teddy up now and see if we can get a response from that. Now, Are they responding to us at the moment? Are we getting
No,
any response from Teddy?
no.
No, not at all. So what we've got to do now is we've got to look to see if they're breathing. That's our next step. Now, what we used to do, and some of the mums and dads out there might remember this, or the grown-ups, that we used to go down and check, get really close to them to check whether they're breathing. We're not doing that at the moment. We've got some different guidelines at the moment with what's going on. So all we're going to do is we are going to look at the patient and see what's happening, okay? See if you can see if they're breathing. So we want to see if they're, how would we do that, boys? How would you check?
Their chest would be moving up and down and up.
Or their belly.
Yeah, their belly, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So they might be breathing like that. So we're going to look to see if we can see for breathing. Now, is Teddy breathing?
No.
No, we've got no breathing there.
No.
Right, so this means we need to start helping them. This is really important at this bit, that we've already called 999 at this point. We need help from them, from the paramedics when this happens. So it's make sure that we've already got a grown-up on the way, but we need the ambulance on the way, which is the important bit, so ring 999. So what we need to do now is we need to do something called CPR, okay? And we're going to start helping the person until the ambulance arrives at this bit,
To
okay?
start with it, you put this hand
Into your fingers.
your fingers,
Yeah.
and then put it on
Okay, so
in
onto
the
your
middle
knees
of
now,
them.
Alex. That's it.
Into the middle of them. And for help of you, there's a song, and it's Baby Shark,
Wow.
and
You
it
guys
goes
know your
up,
stuff.
and it goes up to the end of Daddy Shark, probably.
Right, okay. So we're just going to set a timer for 30 seconds, okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to do CPR. So the boys did really well there. So all we're going to do is we're going to get our hands and we're going to interlock our fingers, okay? And then we're going to push right in the centre of Teddy's chest. Not in the tummy, but in the chest here, right in the centre, okay? So the boys have got their Teddy. I've got Annie, okay? This is what we practice on in reality when we do first aid classes. And we're going to do 30 seconds. And as Alex said, we want to be pushing down really hard and really quick. So basically, we're going to do 30 seconds and we're going to sing Baby Shark. And do you think we get to, so who is it? It's Baby Shark, then is it Daddy Shark?
Mommy Shark, and then Daddy Shark, and then we stop.
And then we stop. Okay, so are we're going to do that? Okay, so put that hand right in the centre of their chest and we're going to start singing Baby Shark and we're going to push on the rhythm, okay?
3,
So,
2, 1.
Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark. Daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark do do. I hope you do this at home. Do 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 do, daddy shark. Brilliant. And we just keep going as long as you can.
Until they wake up, hopefully.
Until they wake up, or until the paramedics, the ambulance people come and help you. Okay, so that was fab. Well done. That was really, really good, boys. I was really impressed with your CPR there. So we've got CPR going, and just always remember the Baby Shark rhythm. It's really quick, and you have to push really, really hard on their chest. So you can practice that at home. You can practice that on a cushion. You can practice it on your cuddly toys, but don't practice it on your brothers and sisters. Okay, don't do that on somebody for real. It could hurt them, couldn't it? So we don't want to do that. Brilliant. Right, let's put teddies away at the moment. Right, we are now going to have a look at. So we've checked for our danger, and we've tried to wake the teddy up, and the teddy's not waking up. Okay, but we look at them, and they are breathing this time. So we are going to put them into a really safe position here. So I've got a question for you, boys. If somebody won't wake up and they are, we can see that they're breathing. Do we put them on their back? Do we put them on their side? Do we put them on their front? Or do we put them on their head?
On their side.
On their side, yeah. Why would we put them on their side? Good, I like the buzzer coming in there. Yeah?
Because probably in a better place for them, maybe.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It keeps them safer. So it just means that it makes their breathing a bit easier. And if they do something when they're asleep, well, when we can't wake them up, if they're sick, then the sick comes out of their mouth and it keeps them safe. So what we're going to do now is Alex is going to show us how to put somebody in this position. And so watch it this time, and then I'm going to get William to put Alex in the recovery position. And whilst he's doing that, you can have a go with your friend, your sibling, your grown-up at home and get that sorted. So actually your friend shouldn't be with you at the moment. That's a very good point. Right, so Alex is going to move the nearest arm to him out of the way. And then he's going to lift up the furthest knee. And he's going to keep his hand on that knee, because if William wasn't pretending, it would flop over to the side. And grab hold of that hand and put it down by the side of his head, Alex. And now we're going to pull, keep hold of his arm there, because otherwise it'll flop. And then roll him over with this knee. And now this is really, really useful, because if it's a grown-up that you're having to do this on, by pulling on that knee, it means that you can roll somebody much bigger than you over. So it really, really helps. So Alex has just got his knee out of the way, and he's got it into a 90-degree angle. What do we need to do with this chin, Alex? There we go. So if you just come and kneel behind William now, so everybody can see. So William's on his side, and his mouth's open, so he can breathe really easily. And he's all nice and supported now. He's not going to move anywhere, which we call this the recovery position. So if whilst you're waiting for the ambulance, if they're breathing, we're going to...
And it's kind of the most important position in first aid.
It is, yes, really important. We practice this one a lot, don't we?
Because doctors can easily get them out of us, and they'll really help them.
Yeah, exactly. So if you two swap round, and I want you guys at home now to have a practice with this. Okay, so make sure that you're practicing. This is a really good one for us all to practice on a regular basis. So you have a go at home now, and then William's going to put Alex into the recovery position as well. Good job. So the nearest hand comes out, and the furthest leg goes up, and then grab his hand next to his head, and then roll in with his knee. That's it. Just pull on his knee, and he'll roll over there.
Okay, and then this comes out.
Fantastic. So again, we can see how easy it is. Now, we do this at Cubs and Beavers, and we've seen really small children rolling quite big leaders, and I remember doing this at one of our local schools at St Edward's First School, and the children were moving quite big adults in this, so it really, really works. So have we got a giggler there?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Ow!
So is that comfy on the floor there, Alexi?
No, you're doing like throwing on the back.
You're throwing on your back, okay.
That's definitely what you don't do.
So that was the recovery position. So I'm hoping that you've all had a go at that at home. That one's one of the really, really important things. So if your grown-up is at home and you can't wake them up, whilst you're waiting for the ambulance, if they're breathing, because we've checked that, then pop them into the recovery position as well. So fantastic. So what we first aid kits, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the bit that we know that you want to do, the gory bit, the blood. Okay, so we're going to be having a look at this. So I'm going to ask you now a question. Why is blood so important? Okay, and we're going to give you 3 answers. And so we want, my technical manager is looking at the answers now. We'll see if anyone gets some.
B, it carries lots of important
things. Should we start with A? Let's start with A.
It's red because it's William's favourite colour. Okay,
I'm going to bring these in so you can see these. Is it A, because it's William's favourite colour? He's an Arsenal fan, that's why.
C, without a vampire.
Should I B?
Oh yeah, B.
Yeah.
It carries lots of important things around the body.
Is it B? So just as Alex said, it carries lots of important things around the body.
Without it, vampires would go hungry.
Or is it C? Without it, vampires would go hungry. Okay, so which one do we think it is? Are we getting any answers?
Let's go with B.
We think it's B, absolutely. So B really, really does a really, really important job. So blood carries lots of things around the body. It carries oxygen, which we need. It carries your food around to give your body energy. It carries things around that fight infection. And it also carries things around that stop the blood coming out. So if you injure yourself, cut yourself, it stops the blood. It forms something called a clot. Okay, so it does loads and loads of really, really important things. Now, it gets round the body with a heart, okay? Lots of B's. I'm being told a lot of you shouted B out. Awesome job, good first aid. So it gets pumped around the body by the heart, which is a big pump. Now, how that works is we've got a water bottle here, which we're going to show you how the heart works. So if you imagine that the water bottle is the heart, are you going to do the squeezing? Yeah. So Alex is going to show you what happens. So when the heart squeezes, it pushes the blood out of the heart, and then the pressure takes it around the body. So it does an amazing job. That's called your circulation. And the tubes that carries it round are called arteries and veins. Now, we've got a new worksheet for you at the end of the session today, so make sure that you remember that one, veins and arteries. They're the tubes that take them round, okay? So, the blood is really, really important, so we need to be able to stop it from coming out of the body. That's the really important thing. So, first of all, like everything, what's the most important thing we do before we treat anyone?
Look at danger. Be danger detectives.
Danger detectives, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to check the scene and we've got to do our jazz hands on. We're danger, danger, danger. One of the things that we need to do, we need to try, blood can carry some germs in it, so we need to make sure that we're stopping that. How are we going to do that, boys?
Gloves.
All right, pop your gloves on then. So if you can, and in your first aid kit, before you do anything with cuts, try and put your gloves on, okay? So first aid gloves. Blue's my favourite colour, so it's a good colour for us.
No, it's not. He's an Arsenal fan, so don't worry.
Yeah. And who do we support? Leicester. That's right, blue's a good colour. Right, so we've got our gloves on, really, really important. Now, a lot of the time, if we're putting a plaster on, you might not put your gloves on, but make sure that you wash your hands properly before we do it. And after we've treated them as well. What song do we sing when we're washing our hands? Happy birthday twice. Brilliant. We're all expert hand washers at the moment. Right. So we are going to have a look at what we do if somebody's cut. So the first thing that we do is we check for danger. Now, because the person might be a little bit wobbly, if they're cut, they might feel a little bit faint. The biggest thing that we need to do is sit them down. Okay. So put them on their bum before they fall down, okay? So either sit them down or lay them down so that they're not going to hurt themselves if they fall over, okay? And the next thing that we're going to do is I need to look at the wound, okay? So we're going to have a look at it. So you can do this with Teddy, or you're grown up there. So make sure that we sit them down and then we're going to have a look at the wound. And I want to see if there's anything in it, anything stuck in there. It might be gravel or a thorn or glass or something like that. And then we are going to, after that, we're going to put some pressure on it. And what's how do we remember this? Press. What I want you to remember to do, how we stop bleeding is we put pressure on it. We press, okay? If you've got your gloves on, it might just be your hands that are doing that. Or we might use a bandage to do that as well. So we've got some bandages here. Now, boys, if we don't have bandages, what can we use?
Loo rolls, anti-towel, and some tights.
Some tights would do, a scarf would do, a tie, some clean, anything that's clean, yeah? And we put that on. So I want you to see if you can stop the blood on your grown-up or on your teddy. We're going to press. That's what they're the words I want you to remember. Press, okay? Can you put pressure on Teddy's wound? Yeah, brilliant, well done. So we're going to press, okay? That's how we stop bleeding. So sit them down, okay? Have a look at the wound to make sure it's okay, and then we're going to put pressure on it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get you guys to start bandaging some stuff up, right? The first thing that we're going to deal with is Alex now has got a graze on his knee. Okay? Oh, it's not sticking now. I think our glue's dried out. There it is. It's on the top. Fabulous. Right. So we've got a graze on Alex's knee. So how would we deal with a graze?
Would you use a simple plaster?
Yeah, absolutely. So grab me a wipe. That's it.
To get all of the like if it's gravel or something, get all of the things that could cause infection out of the wound.
That's it.
And then cover it up so
these are the little wipes that you get in your first aid kit. So we're just going to give the wound a wipe. If you do this, doing everything with your gloves on makes life a lot harder. One of the hardest things I ever have to do in first aid is actually put a plaster on somebody when I've got gloves on. So we're going to clean the wound there. You're being such a brave boy, Alex. Well done. Okay. And then we're just going to get our plaster. We've got some really funky children's plasters here. Look at those. Not your boring old skin-coloured ones.
Yeah, those are boring.
Yeah. And we're just going to get a plaster. What are you doing now? You trying to blow your hand up?
Yeah, it was working earlier.
Do you remember that I can make a chicken out of gloves?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right, so we've got our plaster, and then all we're going to do is we're going to put that over the graze, and we're just going to make sure that it stays nice and clean. But that's great, because it means Alex can go back outside and play, and it will keep that nice and...
With my friends.
Oh, you taking that off already? Yeah? You're going to put it back on. Fab. Right, so that's how we deal with just a small glaze. So all we do is we clean it and then we cover it. Now with William, we're going to do something a little bit more serious. So William has, can I borrow a leg, William?
A bad cut.
He's got a bad cut on his leg. Do you want some fake blood?
I don't mind a bit.
Yeah, let's have a bit of fake blood. We all love a bit of gore in here. So, so a bit of blood on this as well. So there we go. We've got quite a lot of blood all over us.
That looks like ketchup.
It does look like ketchup. You don't like ketchup, do you?
Yeah, I love it.
So we've got quite a bit of blood there. So what we're going to do is we've sat William down. We're going to put some pressure on it until the bandage arrives. Okay, so you can just use your hands with that. And then we're just going to use one of these, which is a normal bandage from your first aid kit. And we're just going to open it up until you get a pad. And we'll put the pad on there. Now, this might be a tea towel, so you could be doing this with your Teddy. Alice, do you want to have a go at bandaging Teddy? Okay. There you go. You have a go at bandaging Teddy whilst we do this. Okay, can you just move Teddy away so the boys and girls can see? Okay, and so what we're going to do is we've got that and we've stopped it bleeding. Okay, so the pressure's worked. The only really important thing about bandages is that you cover the ends of them because that stops. William, can you hold that for me? Just remember that patients are normally quite helpful as well. And then all we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the top and the bottom of the bandage is covered. Okay? So you can be doing this at home. You can use kitchen roll. Loo roll's not great because it disintegrates, but it's great for practicing. You can use a scarf. You can use a bit of t-shirt. You can use anything. So use the cleanest things that you can, okay? So when we've tied this round, we are now going to just tie a knot, okay? Just because we're training today, I'm going to tie a single knot. And we're just going to put that on there. So we've got all of the ends covered. The blood is stopped now. And so we're going to get William off. That was quite a serious cut. So we're probably going to take William to hospital now just to get that glued or stitched, just so that they can have a look at it. So our bandage is really, when we tie a bandage, is to get the person to hospital, okay? We don't kind of fix it, we don't glue it, we don't stick it, we don't stitch it, but that's there to get them. So that will deal with pretty big cuts, to be honest. So just put lots of pressure on it until it stops bleeding, and then if we put a bandage on it, that will work. If it bleeds through this bandage, all we do is we put another one on top of it, okay? If it bleeds through that one, we want to really be thinking about calling an ambulance. And what do you remember the numbers for calling an ambulance?
999 and 112.
Awesome, okay. But after it bleeds through the two bandages, we take them off and we put another one on and try and stop it that way, okay? So pressure, pressure, pressure. Press, press, press. They're the big words I want you to remember with this one here. Press, 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 okay? So how are you doing with your bandages at home there? I hope we've got lots of teddies. And this is one of the things we really want to see, lots of pictures. We had some amazing pictures, some amazing videos. And it was awesome, wasn't it? We looked through all of them and it was really, really nice.
And we actually got to see some children having fun with us.
Yeah, exactly. That was really important, wasn't it, as well? So, right, we're going to have a look now at the ones on there on your heads, okay? So, the bandages, can I borrow you, William?
Yep.
Yeah. So, these bandages, when you undo them, when they come out of their packet, these little wings are always folded over like that. Now, with the head one, if I do it like that, all the blood's going to run down into my eye. So we just keep these little wings folded over. And they'll actually come out of the packet like these. These are training ones that I use for my first aid classes. So all I'm going to do is William's got a bang to the head. Keep nice and still for me. And this just goes over his ears. And it goes under the bump in his head.
And we've got another one if it's...
Yeah, we've got loads of bandages here, haven't we? Alex, do you want to do Teddy? Do you want to see if you can do a bandage on Teddy? Or are you going to do it on... Let me just show them properly and then you can have a go on William whilst they're doing their bandages.
Why is someone doing on me?
Oh, I think you're the expert patient.
Yeah, and you get loads of bumps.
To be honest, William, why do you think we're doing these on you? How many cuts to your head have we had to do this on?
Let's think.
100 times.
3 of them.
3 times. So William's had to go to hospital 3 times for cuts to his head. So these are quite common. So yeah, really, really important. So this is a really nice, easy bandage. And again,
My eyelids.
that's it. So yeah, we can make that a bit more comfortable there. Just take it off his eyes. But the big thing is we've sealed the bottom of the bandage, so hopefully that blood's not going to pour into William's face as well. So that should really, really help. So our head bandage, we hope that you're doing a really good job with Teddy or the grown-ups. We'd love to see loads of pictures with the grown-ups with looking a bit silly with their bandages as well. All right, now, Alex, how are you getting on with Teddy?
Good.
Oh, that's an awesome bandage. Yeah, can I have a high five for that? Good job. Good bandage. Okay. Yeah. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you feeling better than that? You think you look a bit silly?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah. You look really good, mate. So brilliant. So that is our cut number 3. So we've done our graze to the knee, we've done our cut leg, and now we've done our bandage to our head. So loads of practice at home. Practice really does make perfect. So if you've got some more bandages, it's really, really awesome to do it. Right.
Shall we use Teddy's now?
I mean, I am.
Well, we're going to do the problem that Daddy's got, haven't we? So, boys, what happens if you pick your nose?
You get nosebleeds.
Sometimes you get nosebleeds, yeah.
Yeah,
You-
because the artery, the veins get like cracked or something.
Yeah, so you've
And
got
then
lots
like-
of little ones in your nose. So picking it or having a bang to the nose. Both of you guys play rugby, yeah? So
Our girlfriend who has that a lot.
yeah, so we might get a nosebleed. So I'm going to have the nosebleed, okay? So this is me now. Let's have some fake blood so it looks real. We like Halloween in this house, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a nosebleed. Oh no! Gore, is this a gore? I think this might be a bit of a gore alert, is it? Right, so I'm having. I think I've got quite a bad nosebleed. So, boys, you're the first aiders. What do you do to treat me?
Pinch your nose.
So I'm going to pinch my nose, yeah, the soft part. Yeah,
soft
the
part.
bottom. No. Wait. We lead
Forward.
forward. Yeah.
And then
And
Take a bit of tissue.
Yeah.
And hold it in your bottom so
Yeah.
as the blood drips, it will come to the tissue. And then after about 10 minutes, you can take your finger off
Yeah, after 10 minutes, yeah.
and then just wipe the rest up with a wipe.
If it's stopped, great. If it's not stopped, do another 10 minutes. Okay, and we try again after another 10 minutes if that's still bleeding. If you've done that 3 times and it's not bleeding, they need to go to hospital or get the grown-up to give 999 or 111 a call, and they'll be able to help them with that one, but they'll need medical treatment. But normally they stop relatively easy, but it has to be for 10 minutes. Get the person to sit down and keep nice and still, but we pinch the nose. So I want you guys to do this at home. So lean forward, pinch the nose, and give them something just to mop the blood up with it, just that bit there. How am I doing with blood, Alexi?
Good, you still got a bit down there.
Still got a bit down there, have I? Oh, it's okay.
This is blood. This is blood.
This is blood, yeah?
Yeah.
So this, believe it or not, is how much blood is in a grown-up, okay? 5 litres of blood. Now, what happens is can you just chuck me the washing up bowl? There we go.
We've got some water in there.
Yeah. So we can, look at all that blood, everyone. We can lose about 1/3 of the blood out of our body before we start to get really, really poorly. So about that much blood. Now, what might happen if you're looking after somebody and they've had a bad cut, they might start to feel really faint and they might start to go kind of a grey, pale colour. And that means that the blood, there's not enough blood in their body, like this, to get the blood to their head, to where their brain is.
Isn't that the hardest place to get it?
It is. This is
It has to pump it up. And that the
Brilliant.
laws of
Brilliant.
gravity.
So if you can see in the bottle now, the head up here where the cap is, isn't getting blood. So what we need to do as the first aid
And the
is
brain needs blood to work.
to work, yeah.
To work.
Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to get blood to the head. So we put the person on the floor, we lay them down. I'm going to do this with Alex in a minute.
Like this.
And then you can see that the blood is getting to the head. We can make that even better by putting their legs up in the air. So if we get Alex up here, okay, so Alex, if you lay down, and I'm just going to use my first aid kit here, and I'm going to put his legs up in his air. Now all that blood is going to flow into his body, okay, because he doesn't need the blood here at the minute, and it's going to get to his brain. All right, so that is the position. If somebody, and you might want to remember this is the worksheet, is that if somebody is not feeling very well when they've been bleeding and they've gone pale and they feel faint, that we lie them down on the floor, put their feet up in the air, just needs to be 15 to 30 centimetres, or up on a chair or something like that. And we keep him warm. We're going to put a blanket over him.
This is quite comfortable.
It's quite comfortable, isn't it? And then we're going to wait for the ambulance to come and help him, okay? Because he's really quite poorly now. Okay, so it's really important that we know what to do with somebody when they're bleeding. So just remember the big things. We keep ourselves safe. We put the gloves on if we need them. You can, yeah. We sit them or lay them down. We're going to check the wound to make sure if there's anything in there. And then we're going to press is the big thing that we need to remember,
Yes,
isn't it? Okay, fabulous. Right, so we really hope that you guys know how to deal with bleeding now. So this is one of the things that...
All gory things.
Yes, when I teach people first aid, a lot of the things we expect for people not to have to do. But I always tell them, with bleeding, it is something that you do need to know how to do it, okay? Because in normal life, you get little cuts, we get braces, and all that sort of stuff. So we hope that you know how to deal with that now.
So well done, you've completed the stage 1 video. So all we need to do now is make sure that you complete the worksheet, print off the certificate so that you can show your leader. Make sure you do all of the practical work. All of the physical things are really important. Just remember that you can really help in the event of an emergency. So it's not just about collecting your badge. These are life-changing skills that you could really help somebody in the event of emergency. So well done. Congratulations. We really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you get all of this done. Come back for level 2 and we'll see if we can get your level 2 badge for you as well. But thank you very much. Well done.